Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Procurement, the only show you need to master the art of procurement. Let's go. So, welcome back to another episode. Another day has arrived. Another episode is live. So, with me as always, and actually looking pretty good today with his new specs on, is Luke 10. Luke 10, the up and coming procurement protege. And sorry, forgot to introduce myself, but I am Luke 1, the one and only. Well, I can't even say the one and only Luke, can I? Because there's two of us.
You're the one and only Luke 1.
Yes, trademarked.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so obviously just recapping who we are. I am a SIPS profesh.
SIPS God.
And all. Yeah, God in the making. And then you are a...
SIPS...
apprentice? That's a bit harsh.
SIPS... What they have terms, don't they, for
I think,
all these things?
Yeah, I would say you're not a baby in your kind of growth stage. You're probably reaching late adolescence. You're nearly there.
Yeah. I'm like, well, as we know, you are building a baby.
I am.
As we know from previous eps, which I don't think we've mentioned that much, to be fair. What stage of if you know, once I'm fully formed, I'm fully graduated through SIPS, right? What stage of the pregnancy am I?
On the pregnancy?
Because I assume I've not been birthed yet as a SIPS.
Well, I think
as a child of SIPS.
I think that's how you collect your certificate for level 6.
When you
Slide out the birth
graduate, that's the birth.
Yeah, I would say you're in the final trimester. You've really come along quite nicely. You know,
Wow.
you're developing all your features, kind of listening. You're a bit active. Almost good to go. Fully baked, nearly. As we like to say.
I'm nearly fully baked. Okay, I like that.
So why would you listen to us? Well, here's exactly why you should listen to us if you're new around here. This is the only procurement podcast that covers things like SIPS topics, how to improve your results, what the hell is procurement, because we're still finding out, what are the core tools that we need in our little armoury to bash those salespeople, how can you improve as a procurement professional, and you know what? We do it while having a smile on our faces, so completely different to the majority of other podcasts that are available. You know, we don't just talk about what's at the forefront of procurement. We like to try and encourage more people to get involved and active with procurement as a topic as well. So we are very accessible. You can reach out to us on many of our platforms, but we do have a few favourites, don't we?
Yes, we do. That was a subtle hint for me to say said things. I don't know why I can't speak today. That's useful. So we have an email address. That email address is 2lukes1sip@gmail.com. I will repeat myself, 2lukes1sip@gmail.com. That's the number 2, Luke's plural, the number 1, CIP@gmail.com. And we also have an Instagram. If you want to slide into our DMs, then, or just follow us for the content, we do post occasional memes on there, and we have not quite a face reveal, a body reveal, but it's a body in a cloak. In a cloak, yeah. We're both in the same cloak, so that is wait on.
Hold on.
We're
not in the same cloak.
We're not in the same cloak, but we are kind of in the same cloak. Go and look at our Instagram. It's let's_talk_procurement. We also have a text us button. So if you can't be bothered to type anything, or just move apps on your phone, that's the most difficult thing in the world. There's a link under this episode in the description that you just press it and you can text us if you're on a phone. I don't know what happens if you're on a laptop or a non-textable device.
No idea. Probably
Try
just
it out, see what happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, that also goes straight into our DMs as well.
And actually, on that, if you do send us a text and we like the message, and by like, it doesn't have to be a compliment, it can be horrific as well, but if we find it amusing, we will showcase it on our website, which is www.letstalkprocurement.co.uk, and you can see some texts we've already received and have a little chuckle at those.
Yeah, our fan mail section. You can also see information about us, but that's for you to explore when we're not live. So feel free to check that out. And the last thing that we would request of you is to give us a 5-star review.
Or 6-star.
6-star review, yeah. As you said earlier, Luke 1, there are some things that we do different to other procurement podcasts. Those things, or that one thing, is something we like to call procurement duck up. There are some other, it's sort of a mini series within our greater Let's Talk Procurement series. We've done some things like the KFC shortage of chicken. What else have we done? We've done one on Ministry of Defence in the UK. We've done
Halloween
Spanish
special.
and French trains.
Halloween special,
yeah, that's a few duck ups in there. Today we're slightly varying that. We are doing a supply chain duck up, SCDU, instead of a PDU. So what we've got is, picture this, right? Lean back in your chairs, get yourself strapped in for this, and just picture in your mind, bit of meditation. Don't close your eyes unless you're driving. Wait.
one way around.
Or maybe.
I'm leaning back, my eyes are closed, the mic is on my lips.
So the date was 23rd of March 2021.
It's not too far away.
Do you remember what happened on that date?
I don't.
What if I tell you about the perpetrator was a vessel called the Ever Given, which was a 400 metre long container ship operated by the company called Evergreen Marine.
Wait, what was it called? Ever
Given.
Ever Giving Vessel?
Ever Given was a vessel, yes.
So I've got a 400-pound vessel.
400 metres long. I don't know how heavy it was.
I've got a 400 metre long veiny vessel.
Come on.
Right, I'm picturing it. Keep going.
And you're in Egypt. You
Okay.
specifically are at the Suez Canal, which is a critical choke point that connects the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. So it's a very important shipping route, and it handles 12% of global trade and nearly 30% of global container traffic.
Wow, that's a lot of traffic. Okay, so I'm in Egypt, sailing down a river, a canal, in a big veiny vessel called Ever Giving, full of shipping containers.
Yeah, that is correct.
I don't know why I think that. Is that because I've seen the picture of it? Could be.
So, of course, we're talking about when the Suez Canal got blocked.
Isn't he a football player? Luis Suez.
Suarez. What, something completely different to what I just said?
Sorry. I thought I'd get a good joke out of that, but it was shit.
Yeah. So what actually happened, for those who don't know, but I'm assuming most people know, maybe this is getting listened to in like 50 years and people don't remember what happened. The ship ran aground sideways due to high winds or possibly human error, and it completely blocked the canal for 6 days. So the company said the ship is suspected to have met with a sudden gust of strong wind which caused the ship's body to veer from its course and accidentally run aground.
I'm not sure I believe that. I mean, how strong does a gust of wind, basically a hurricane, turn a ship of that magnitude?
It's a 400 metre long, I assume quite heavily loaded ship.
Yeah.
That somehow
and a gust of wind.
Yeah. Someone's just like you're blowing on your tea if it's too hot, you just...
Oh, yeah.
And somehow that that made the ship run aground.
Side note: for every journey you've been on, I know you've been driving for a while now. How many times has your car been blown over by a gust?
0. What about you?
How many times have you blocked a major road due to a gust of wind blowing your car over?
I'm glad you clarified due to a gust of wind, because the answer would have been 1.
We know about that, the flaming car episode.
Yeah. What was that? A total cost of ownership app?
It was,
If
yeah.
you want to hear about how I blocked one of, well, probably the UK's busiest motorway
With a flaming car.
with a I mean, we'll just give it away, but with the car.
After you just purchased it.
Then listen to the TCO app. But back to the Ever Given. I don't know, but I've never given it a try.
Oh dear. Can I ask you a question?
You can.
If you were a 400-meter long vessel, what would your ship name be?
Good question. What would it be?
Can I give you mine to
Go
give
on,
you some
go on.
inspiration? It would be What a Load of Ship. Because obviously it's quite a big ship and has a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah. Mine would be Shippy McShipface.
Okay. I'll give you that.
So, of course, that when the ship got stuck, it led to. There were a number of delays that happened because the ship got blown off course. As I said, it blocked the canal for 6 days. Over 400 ships were delayed or rerouted around the Cape of Good Hope, which added 10 days to the journey instead of just cutting
It's
off
a longer lead
going
time.
through Egypt. Exactly, yeah. They had to go around the bottom of Suez Canal. I don't know if that's a good accent or not. I'll hear back on the recording. And approximately $9 to $10 billion worth of goods were held up per
day. How many days was it? 10 days? No, 6 days.
6 days.
So that's
Listening.
700 billion. Where's your humour gone, man? Come on, what?
We'll go with that. It's not funny though. Just bad maths. I never find bad maths funny.
True. God.
So, key sectors that were impacted: oil and gas prices spiked, of course, because
Haven't gone down since.
Yeah, it's a spike. Just we're still on the spike. Retail manufacturing, obviously, there's delays in delivery, especially things like electronics and automotive parts.
Okay.
And linking back to our first procurement duck-up, just-in-time supply chains were exposed, and the vulnerabilities in those lean inventory models.
Yeah, good point, yeah, because there's no spares and repairs, is there, in those models, so...
Yeah. So, I've got a question for you now. What do you call a ship that blocks global trade? Wait, that doesn't make sense. Hold on, let me edit this. I took it from AI, but it doesn't make sense. Oh, okay, I'll say it anyway. What do you call a ship that blocks global trade? A real frightening experience.
Okay, yeah. Frightening. Kind of get it.
So, moving on. The impact was threefold impact, what I've come up with. Disruption ripple effect.
Yep.
So that's port congestion. Container shortages was made worse. And increased price for freight transport and insurance.
Of course, yeah.
Insurances. Secondly, procurement challenges. So, of course, there was a problem with meeting timescales for delivery. You needed to find alternate sourcing and logistics strategies. And there's going to be a greater emphasis on supply chain resilience and risk management, so business continuity activities. Thirdly is strategic shift, which kind of links to that last point. Companies assessing their single source dependencies. That's it. There's a rise in nearshoring and diversified supplier base, and investment in supply chain visibility tools and scenario planning. What are your thoughts on
I find that
those?
interesting because it's a knock-on effect from somebody else screwing up. And it would depend on the contracts you have with the companies. So, for example, if I've got a contract with you to deliver things to me, I would probably be asking that you deliver within an SLA and stuff like that. And you'd probably say that the canal route being blocked is a major event, maybe like a force majeure type of event. And I'm trying to think in most.
Can you detail to me how that would play out in a scenario? So let's say, right, I'll be the supplier, you be in procurement. So I'll come to you and I'll say, look mate, sorry, I can't deliver your 3-piece suit. I can't deliver your 6-piece suit by ship because you've got 100 of them, so it kind of makes sense to do it. So I can't deliver them because I can't deliver them on time because the canal is blocked.
I'd be looking to check the contract and see. Obviously, if it's a legit contract, you should know it inside out, right? But I'll be looking for things like, are we paying you specifically to deliver it via boat? If not, are we paying you specifically to deliver it by a certain date? When you're doing online shopping and you select your method of shipping, and you can pick from 2 or 3 different delivery providers. I'll be looking for things like that. So have I selected the one that happens to then be blocked? In which case, is that something that I'm at fault for?
Yeah, I've said to you in my proposal, when you did a tender for delivering 6-piece suits, I said to you I was going to deliver it by ship.
Okay, so it's in the contract then that it's by ship.
You didn't say anything. Yeah, so it's in the
Well, there will probably be something in there. General goods delivery. That will effectively say who bears the responsibility for those delays and where those costs should sit.
Is that affected by, I can't remember what it's exactly, is it Incoterms?
Yeah.
So when do you own it?
Yeah, so Incoterms is who's responsible for it at particular parts of the journey and where they are in transport and who's signing it off and things like that. I think there's another term when it's by sea as well. I think there's a specific type of Incoterms for by sea, but that has escaped my head.
So on force majeure as well, so as a supplier, I could try and claim that a force majeure event.
Yeah, I mean,
what does that mean?
Effectively, typically it's known as an act of God clause, how it originated, but it's basically huge impacts that happens globally or in a particular location that are out of your control, but will prevent you from delivering to the contract. But you would say it's reasonable that such event would cause failure for you to deliver. So, for example, if a storm is written in force majeure, well, a storm happening in Turkey doesn't impact you because you're based in Egypt, right? So that's not really a valid force majeure event. You might have war or political events in there as well as a potential force majeure clause, but obviously if you're not in those affected countries, does it necessarily affect you? If I've got a manufacturer in China and China enter into a war, then all of a sudden force majeure could be impacting my ability to deliver.
So would you have had to, let's say it's a really badly drafted clause, and it just says, as you say, like if there's a storm, then I can't deliver it. If I then say, oh, there's a storm somewhere in the world, then does that kind of give me the ability to exit, or does it have to, is it like
it's implied? So normally, to be honest, normally even the boilerplate wording normally has something that will say that event that reasonably restricts your ability to deliver the service. So say events such as storm, lightning, act of God, volcanic eruption, whatever. But even if it's not, it would be implied that it's something that, because the whole reason is it's something that's well out of your control that you can't necessarily predict, that is a genuine reason for you not able to deliver the contract.
Yeah, which I think is where this clause starts to confuse me sometimes, is because you have to predict what you're not going to be able to predict.
That's why, why you get like broad terms like act of God. Viruses never used to be in there. You're starting to see that appear now. So global viruses or pandemics, as a result of COVID, that's been added in, because that wasn't in many contracts beforehand. So you could reasonably argue that it wasn't necessarily an event that's going to stop you being able to deliver.
Yeah. So at what point does it become like what's beneficial, since we are trying to be a procurement podcast?
Yes.
What would be, if you were reviewing a force majeure clause, what would you look for?
So I would look, you don't want the clause to be too open and vague. So some people put things in there like flooding and fire and power cut and transport delays, and then you start or road closures and things like that, and then you start to think, well, hang on a second,
you can just plan.
Yeah, that's getting a bit stupid. So even things like fires, which is kind of typical to see in there, or power cuts, you just want that, you want to just firm it up a little bit and say, power cuts that will impact the service, power cuts in the locations that the supplier operates. You kind of, it's always been a boilerplate clause, so you kind of expect it in most contracts. What you have to kind of do is go, in relation to the services we are buying, would those events actually give rise to a termination event, or is it just giving the supplier a way to exit a contract they don't want? So, does a power cut in a factory impact you from receiving professional services from a company? It shouldn't do, right? So, but if you've got power cuts in your force majeure clause, they can go, well,
then
potentially, yeah.
Interesting.
Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than that because you get into the whole legalities of it. But I think it's very rare to terminate a contract for force majeure, because most of the time, if it is a genuine reason, you don't really want to get out of the contract. You just want whatever it is that's not being delivered. Which is why business continuity plans and things like that are very important. Disaster recovery.
Yeah.
So, sorry, bit of a tangent that, but going back to the canal. Would you qualify the canal event as a force majeure event?
Well, it's not really. Let's say I'm the ship behind this one. I've seen it get blown off course. That's not within my control.
No.
But would I have had to? I would have had to have something. It's not necessarily like the next ship's behind it. I mean, for a reasonable amount of time, right? Once it's been cleared, then you probably can't claim it as
exactly. Well,
an event anymore. But
so I would argue that for the ship that the ever giving, that if it was truly a gust of wind that caused it, then that could be a force majeure event, because unforeseen extreme winds that could blow a ship into a vertical position or horizontal position and block a whole canal, which is probably why they're saying that that's the cause, as opposed to gross gross negligence or just incompetency.
Driver.
She was trying to do a U-turn or something, or he was trying to do a U-turn, sorry, not being specific there, and
the one the one time you say he or she.
Yeah, they were trying to do a U-turn. But if the other transports, realistically, there are alternative routes, so you should have a contingency for being able to deliver in the event that your main route is blocked.
Yeah. So if you were a supplier and your contract said time is of the essence, then potentially a continuity plan would be, I've got a plane from Dubai that's going to fly over to the Suez Canal, the nearest airport. We're going to go and pick it up, stick it on a plane,
and just keep it moving
and get it. Yeah.
Whereas if it was like reasonable endeavours, then you could soften it a little bit, and they might just go, "Oh, we'll turn around, we'll give it to the next ship, and then they'll come around, go in a different direction or something like that." But ultimately, you should be prepared, right? I mean, if your local commute to work is blocked because the roadworks are going on, and you've got to take a longer route, you just leave a bit earlier.
Yeah, you're still expected to get there on time. Yeah.
What was the second point you said? Sorry, you gave 3 points. I meant that the second one.
Second one was procurement challenges. So the 3 sub-points within that were difficulty in meeting delivery timelines, need for alternative sourcing and logistics strategies, and greater emphasis on supply chain resilience and risk management.
Yeah. How do you feel about that last one about supply chain resilience and the emphasis on that?
That'd have to be obviously done before something like this happens. You can't just you can't turn up at the Suez Canal. Oh, it's blocked. Oh, now I'll think about
what the backup plan is.
Risk management. Yeah, that's one of those things that people don't really like to do, isn't it? Governance and risk management stuff. But you can see when it comes to this that
I think
it's important.
What's easy to forget is that these people that are delivering the 6-piece suits are logistics experts. You're literally paying a transport company to transport goods to you. So you would expect them to have alternative means if necessary.
Yeah.
And if they're only shipping suppliers, you would expect them to have a network of aeroplanes or something like that. A company that does it by air, or a company that does it by limousine or whatever. But similar industry. But you would know who you could contact and ring up and kind of say, "Look, I'm stuck in a canal here, mate. Can you bail us out?" So.
Yeah. And to an extent as well, I mean, maybe it's not applicable. I mean, it might be for this, but there was a lot of memes that came out about it because the way that they had to try and get it out at first was they just used a little digger.
Yeah.
Someone took a photo of the digger. If you are able to go online, look up the photo of the Ever Given next to the digger. So the digger's tiny, and then with its little hook, it's trying to scoop out some
bit of sand that keeps filling up or something.
The ships, you can basically see that the bottom third of the ship with the whole, next to the whole digger. It's quite funny, and all the captions were like,
"Whose problem is that?"
Well, that was the point I was going to go on before I went on a tangent. If you're going to assume they're paying some sort of fees to go through the canal, if you're paying these fees to this company, you'd probably expect them to have some risk management in their kind of strategy as well. If they're, if this happens, then we'll do this, or we'll dig the canal a bit deeper across so that this won't happen.
Yes, but how many... If you were doing a risk register of things as a canal owner and you own the transport route, where on your list would a gust of wind blowing a evergreen long 400 metre long thing sideways be? Because you probably have high impact, but it'll probably be a low likelihood. Very low likelihood, yeah. So you're probably looking at things like traffic control, traffic lanes, making sure there's no collisions. What if there's an oil spill or contents get spilled in? How do we clean up with that? And you'd probably argue that they're right to be prioritised on those issues.
Yeah, although I don't know, I've never been to the Suez Canal. I don't know if it's notoriously windy.
Yeah, I just feel very sceptical of the fact that it's the wind is the only thing to blame.
Yeah, and the company was the one that said, they came out and said, oh, it was wind.
Yeah.
But other places
Well, they're trying to-
say, was it driver error?
They're trying to get out of that, however many billion a day impact that they were causing.
Yeah, $9 to $10 billion per day for 6 days.
Oh yeah, 700 billion.
Yeah.
Still hate that, don't you?
So, strategic shifts. Companies began reassessing single source dependencies, and there was a rise in nearshoring and diversified supply bases. And then I had another point about scenario planning.
Are you going to make that point, or?
Supply chain investment in supply chain visibility tools and scenario planning.
I'm kind of skeptical on the whole thing, really, because it's a bit like a freak event that's happened, and everybody's all, I don't want to say overreacting, but kind of panicking about what's going on with it.
Yeah, I don't know if these things are happening en masse.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
As I said, this is just the kind of
The people impacted by it, perhaps.
Yeah, this is just what I could
Like, I think the
think about.
knock-on effects are huge, really, because if you're not getting your supplies and you're failing to meet your customers' demands, you're probably going to end up trying to sue someone, and you can imagine there being a lot of court cases and things.
Oh, it was a massive impact, wasn't we? We were both alive at the time this happened.
But is this the first event where we were?
No, and I can remember back in the day, right, when this happened, that you couldn't really order quite a lot of stuff, because if you think we live in England, right, we buy a lot of stuff from places like China. That is, if you look on a map,
shipped.
that's everything goes through from China to here, through that Suez Canal. So if there's an extra 10-day kind of extension on that, it has impacts, right? I couldn't get my 6-piece suits. This is why I use that example, because it was a real pain for me to get my 100 times 6-piece suits.
600 pieces.
They're all different.
Is it a Lego suit?
Chainmail.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about this one, to be honest. I just
In what way? Tell me about it.
Well,
release your feelings to me. This is a therapy session.
it just reminds me of someone driving down the motorway, and when a gust of wind, they turn sideways, their car rolls over.
Ah, so you think it was some sort of? You think it was like on purpose?
Not necessarily on purpose, potentially, but not necessarily on purpose. But somebody has created an issue, whether it was intentional or not, and it's caused a knock-on effect. So you've got the M25 is blocked, major motorway in the UK, for those who don't know. M25 is blocked, and you've got tons of lorries sitting there in the traffic, tons of cars, tons of everything. If I turn up late to my meeting, people just go, "Oh, okay, yeah, he's a little bit late. Like, maybe I understand it because we've seen on the news." But there's not really much else you do about it, is there? You kind of just...
But I don't know. I think you're thinking about it from a personal level, whereas as you say, logistics companies get paid to do this sort of stuff.
So they failed their SLAs.
And they're not prepared for it. They're going to look awful if their competitors are, sorry.
I guess so, yeah, if their competitors aren't affected by it. But again, where were you in the canal at the time? Was your boat the one in front of the one that blocks it, or the one 2 hours behind it? And it could literally be that as to whether you're a good supplier or a shit supplier. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of...
Although, wouldn't you say that part is luck? What defines or what separates you as a good versus a bad supplier is how you reacted to it, and therefore how good your business continuity plans were in place for something like that to happen.
How quick do you respond to it?
How quick can you respond to it? That's what separates a great from a bad supplier.
So would you be annoyed if you were in the boat behind this blockage?
I'm going to say yes, whatever comes next.
And you turned it all around and rapidly sped down a different route. Literally, think James Bond tearing it up and down the waves, like doing everything you can.
Container ship, As a jet ski.
Yeah, jet ski container. Yeah, just one container on the back of a jet ski, weaving in and out of kind of, all sorts of different vehicles, vessels, and you don't sleep for 2 days straight just to get this package to your customer. You turn up battered, bruised, bird shit, your breath stinks, like awful, and they then go, "Why is it 2 days late?" That's ridiculous.
What I would do is then put them in the nuisance category.
Such a petty little thing to respond with, but that's amazing.
Of supplier, no, what's it? Customer preferencing model,
Yeah.
whatever it's called. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's just unrealistic expectations. Can you do much about that?
Yeah. I guess it's communication, isn't it? Like if you were weaving through all the vessels and you're doing everything you could, you'd probably be communicating to the customer as well to say, look,
this is what I'm doing.
This is what I'm doing, yeah.
Yeah. What's the most relatable ship of 2021? The one that got stuck doing nothing and caused chaos everywhere. Does that do you relate to that?
Was that a joke? Or was that like...
That's an AI created joke.
I thought it was just a fact, like...
Oh, okay.
Do you know any other famous ships?
Titanic? Do you want me to make a Titanic joke?
No, it wouldn't go down well.
That was a good sound.
Okay, cool. I think that's been insightful. I don't know. It's kind of a mystery duck up, isn't it? It's somebody else's supply chain's messed up my supply chain, and now I've got to deal with it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it played out contractually for a lot of people, but I don't know enough about it to kind of comment much more than we have really.
If you work for a logistics company and, well, if you worked and no longer work for them and now you're not bound by an NDA, then come and chat to us. Let us know what it was like.
Yes, please do.
And I've got one last joke for you. Ever Given walked into a bar, pause, and immediately blocked the entrance for 6 days. And on that, I think we should end the episode. So he's staying silent. That's how bad the joke was. See you in a bit.